I'm Betsy Butler, and I'm the Assembly member for the 53rd Assembly District, and I'm out here fighting for good jobs and working families.
And is this location, the Hyatt Andaz, in the 53rd Assembly District?
No, it's actually out of it. No, it's not in it.
That's interesting then that you choose, you're being active in a different district that isn't your own.
Unite here has championed a lot of great causes. They have a number of hotel locations that have, shall we say, issues right now. And so I'm supporting Unite here and all of their efforts.
Now there's been a bill that's gone through the Assembly recently to do with fitted sheets and long-handled mops,
right.
if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Can you tell us about that and how its progress is?
Actually, I must confess I don't know. I know we voted on it at one point. We just finished our session this morning. I don't know if it got through the Senate or not, and if it's making the governor's desk. I honestly don't know.
Now, the governor recently vetoed a bill that would have allowed farm workers to organize more easily.
Yes, he did.
And that passed through the Assembly and the Senate, and he said no.
That's correct. And actually, I was marching with United Farm Workers last week up in Sacramento in Galt. And there is a measure that's being worked out right now with the governor. He is trying to assist the farm workers, and we'll see how that makes its way through the process.
So they'll generate a new piece of legislation, you think?
No, it's already gone through. It's on his desk.
So
it actually allows people to communicate with their labor leaders and their employers, and if there are issues, then there are people who will know about it. So this is something that the governor actually crafted.
So he may change his veto? He may change his mind on that?
No,
I don't understand. What could emerge from this talk he's having with the farm workers now?
He's allowing them to organize, and he's setting up a mediation type of system so that if there are issues that we can go back and look at it.
I see.
I think card check would have been the better answer, but I'm not the governor.
It's interesting that the card check legislation, majority sign-up, didn't pass internationally, and it didn't pass for the farm workers here in California either. Why do you think workers are having such a hard time of it?
Well, it passed out of the Assembly and the Senate. I don't know why the governor's having such a hard time with it. It's a question you'd have to ask him.
I mean more largely, why do you think labor and workers are having a difficult time in this climate right now?
I think that in really bad economic times, like we're in right now, everyone looks around at everybody else and points a finger at something that they have, and so they don't feel comfortable enough about where they are, so they try to find scapegoats, I guess. And I really feel that way. The labor movement is being held responsible for the economic woes and the downturn of the entire economy of the United States. Look at Wisconsin and other states. It just simply isn't so.
Who do you see as responsible for the economic downturn that we had?
We can start with the mortgage crisis. We can start with all kinds of poor management throughout the country, and there you go. But that's nothing to do with labor.
Now, the corporations are sitting on what I believe is about $2 trillion in profits. There's sort of a strike of capital going on right now, where they're not hiring and they're not investing. Is there any way that legislators can? Is there a lever that you guys can use to try and pry some of that money out and put it in the economy?
Well, we are working very hard again to ensure worker rights and make sure that everyone is treated fairly, given a fair wage, and again doing measures to help their jobs be as healthy and safe as possible. So the legislature itself is 150% behind workers in the state of California and across the country. So when you talk about corporate dollars, though, that's a very interesting path to get on and really make change. So it's much more difficult, but we can fight for the workers, and this legislature is fighting very hard for workers in California.
How long are you on recess for?
We're out of session now for the balance of the year, unless there's a budget issue, which because of the triggers that were put into the last budget, we weren't going to do cuts if we got revenues above a certain level. It doesn't look like that's happening. So it is likely that we might come back, but definitely by January we'll probably have to do some more cuts to the budget.
So why are the budgets all cuts? Why aren't we able to raise revenues? I mean, California, Los Angeles has 17 billionaires. I mean, wouldn't they be willing to kick in a little more if we put the squeeze on them?
It's interesting. Warren Buffett feels that way. There was a great op-ed in the New York Times today saying that very thing. There is a growing swell of people, very wealthy people in the country, who believe that they should be paying more. But the bottom line is that in California, we don't have a 2/3 vote. So we can't raise taxes in the state. We can't do oil extraction fees or any other type of taxation without that 2/3. So we're too short on each side of the House presently, unless we can get 2 Republicans to come with us. If you'll remember, Arnold Schwarzenegger just wanted to extend our tax package, and he couldn't even get votes for that. So it's hard to get tax increases through right now.
Is the redistricting plan likely to produce more Democratic seats that would cross the 2/3 threshold?
We are hopeful that is the case. It looks like that may be the case, but things are really still shaking out quite a bit. We have a number of people who are still finalizing where they're going to live, what office they're going to run for. There are some people who are considering Congress versus their current state seat. So a lot of that stuff is just being worked out right now.
Then what are the ways that we could claw back that element of Prop 13 from 1978, which established the 2/3 rule in the first place? Would that be a ballot initiative from the people? Could you do it? Do we have to team up together to accomplish that? How do we overturn that bad law?
It has to be a ballot initiative, and I don't know that the will of the people is there yet. We could start to eat at it. This governor could start to do some things addressing Prop 13 and its very old adages, but and if anyone could, I think it'll be him. I think he will look at this. Governor Schwarzenegger never did anything this progressive to look at the systems that have been in place for 30 years that just frankly don't work anymore. But that is to say, we have to work out a whole bigger process of how we pay for the things that are important to us.
If I'm not mistaken, more than once, single-payer healthcare legislation was put on Schwarzenegger's desk. He vetoed it every time. Has that been advanced to Governor Brown yet?
Well, we're really lucky that we now have national health care, and each state will get to implement national health care as it works best for their citizens. And so
starting in 2017.
Well, no, it's already being implemented now. There are little parts of it being implemented every month. So it's being implemented now, and we'll begin to really focus on how things get paid for and how people can have proper health care.
Because Vermont has just passed a single-payer healthcare system, and their governor signed it, and they're starting to implement a single-payer system that relies on them getting a waiver from the national system, so they can use the dollars towards that. So California legislature.
I would love to have that happen in California. I'm all for universal health care. I have been for a long time, and Mark Leno did a great job in really keeping that message alive in Sacramento. So maybe this governor will do that too.
Do you hold out a lot of hope for Governor Brown? Have you been disappointed with how his first budget came out? Expectations seem to be lowered because of the budget situation. Can you respond to that?
I believe that this governor has a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom, and I'm hopeful that he will really champion some big ideas. I mean, to be honest with you, every system we have in California needs to be looked at, from our correction system, clearly our education system, our infrastructure system. We touched on healthcare. Again, every single system you can think of is in need of being reevaluated, and I'm hopeful this governor will tackle all those issues.
And how much longer can you be in that fight before you're turned out?
I have 6 years total. I'm in my first year, so I have another 5 years.
I see.
This will be my new district, actually. I have to move.
Oh, so you're getting to meet the folks.
Well, actually, I've spent a lot of time here. My last election, all 5 of the city council members in West Hollywood had endorsed me, and so we'll see how it goes this time.
Interesting that you find allies in a district that isn't yours.
Well, it's not that. It's that I've championed a lot of causes throughout the course of my life. I'm actually on the board of Equality California, which is all about gay rights and gay marriage, and I've just been in politics forever. So I'm very fortunate to have a lot of great causes and friends in my life.
Speaking of being in politics, forever, is ours a part-time legislature? When you're off out of session, do you have another career that you pick up?
No, I work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Even now when the session is closed, there's lots to do.
I am booked every day, all day long.
Really?
Yeah.
In the district. She's here.
Yeah. Meeting your constituents.
Oh yeah, I have 3 more events tonight. That's why I'm dressed like this.
Oh, I thought this was just your personal style.
No. To march and yeah.